Today's guest is Melissa B. Melissa comes to us from Australia. She is dedicated to empowering women to regain energy, lose weight, and live optimally. She is active on social media and engages with the carnivore community, shares insight, and hosts discussions with experts in the field. Melissa, welcome to the show.
Tony, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Great to
I'm
be
I'm super excited to have you on and share your story of how you got into carnivore. I was lucky enough to be on one of your carnivore chats, and that's
here.
kind of how we connected. But you've had some
Yes,
pretty big names on there so far.
yes. I do have a really great network. I'll just call them friends now
Yeah.
within the carnivore community through just connections I've made, but also the events that I hold. So yeah, it's really. Oh, the beauty of the carnivore community is that there's never really any distance between people. It's everyone just wants to be connected with everybody, and it's. I think it's part of who we are in terms of what we're here to do, which is share our experiences with others and
Yeah.
empower people. So yeah, that's the beauty of these connections is that we come together, we share our stories, and then we empower other people, hopefully, to do the same.
Yeah, and a lot of the people that are on, your chats, it's crazy. We think of these people as, rock stars in the community, and all you got to do is send them a DM like, "Hey, would you like to be on a podcast or a live?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely."
They're really good like that.
Yeah. And speaking of stories, the big thing that I want to talk about to get this kicked off is your story and what led you to the carnivore diet, and what changes did you experience as you went through this transition, physically and mentally?
Yes, absolutely. I always like to start back in 2010, where I had a heap of unrelated health issues that led to me um, one day being at work and my left ear starts ringing very loudly. It's very dizzy. I had vertigo. I was diagnosed afterwards with tinnitus, a ringing in the ear that never goes away. I was told to take steroid nasal sprays and blood thinners for the rest of my life, and there was nothing that could be done for me. And I remember walking out of that meeting saying to myself, if my body has created this, then my body can perhaps work at healing it. And so it led me on a journey of kind of health and self discovery to find the right people to educate me really on what was going on within my body. And I was just so out of balance in so many ways that I had. I was a big sugar eater. I was eating a lot of carbs. I would start the day. I was working a stressful corporate job in the city, concrete jungle, fluoro lights, and I would have Red Bull and a packet of lollies in the morning for breakfast. So that's how I was starting my day. And so I had ignored all the signs that my body was trying to tell me that you're just not treating me very well. And I ignored them all. And then at its worst, my ear starts ringing to get my attention. And so that kind of set me on the path of, all right, well, what am I eating? How am I living? What products am I breathing in, putting on my body, have in the home? How am I thinking and feeling? What am I doing in my life that can either help or hinder how I feel? And a lot of that, it has to do with the choices that we make every day with regards to daily ritual. Before I came on here, because it's early here in Australia, I went outside. It's pretty dark at the moment, but I make sure I put my bare feet on the ground, do a lot of earthing and gratitude in the morning, meditation, breath work. So I wasn't aware of any of that before I found the right people to kind of introduce me to it. And then I started practicing everything, because your silence gets taken away from you, you pretty much want to do anything to try and help get it back, your silence. So yeah, I spent a year of learning a heap of different modalities, ways of living. Back then, it was more of a paleo diet. So, you know, what what I wouldn't eat from that now is probably rice, mainly rice, and maybe some seeds as well. But yeah, so I had a really great result after 12 months of dedicating time to healing myself inside and out. And through that process, I lost a lot of weight and I was feeling great. And yeah, that's how kind of how my events started. Come back to events afterwards, but and then I kind of had two children, went off the wagon a little bit. Then I got divorced, went through a couple of years of stressful times, and yeah, I put all this weight back on, wasn't taking care of myself. I was really just in survival mode, and so I've just kind of explained to you my 20s and 30s. And got to 2020 and I decided, okay, everything's kind of settled down in my life now. It's time to come back to self and, just do whatever I had done in the past, which I had been successful at, especially to lose weight. So I implemented all of them, and I'm very kind of holistic, a very conscious woman, and I just did all the things that I thought would help me, and they did. I lost, a fair bit of weight on my own, and it set me on the path. And then I ended up meeting a local PT and coach here who had a certain program after I told him I'd lost some weight, and he's like, you know what? You don't know what this program could do for you. You should try it. And I'm like, this is the time for me. And so I stepped into that kind of not knowing what I was getting myself into. And that's where I really got educated and taught a lot about keto and changed eating to mostly keto and then doing a lot of, doing regular weight training. And my body just started to completely transform. When your body transforms, I feel like you drop, I think I dropped another 10 kilos after that. And you just physically shed layers, which also then enables kind of like emotional layers to come up and be shed, and you become a whole new person, And so in my late 30s, I'm now 41, I started to feel like an energy and a vibrancy and kind of living in a way I hadn't lived before. And that excited me a lot. And so to continue, because I'm always about self-improvement and evolving as a person. And I'm like, I should maybe try doing a bikini bodybuilding competition just for the fun of it to see how far I could take this. And in 2022, I started prep for that. And just about 4 weeks out, I was very sick with COVID, and I lost a couple of weeks of prep, which is not very good when you're planning to get on stage in a really tiny bikini. And as I got better, my coach just said, Mel, and I was very aware of Carnivore at that point because he'd made me very aware of it. I was doing a lot of research into it anyway. It's like, you should just jump on Carnivore now. Like, this is the time. You got to give it all you got. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll give it a shot. So I did for 4 weeks, and like what it did to my body was just amazing. Like my body had never looked like that ever. But, like aesthetically, it worked for what I was using it for at the time. But like then once I started to kind of get out of that prep period, I realized how amazing I felt and that I was kind of living in a new way. And I knew that whatever my body needed was in what I was eating. And I didn't really need to even go back to eating keto anymore. And I stayed eating carnivore, and just the experience I have had with that being like clear vision, my skin, my hair's growing, my nails, the energy I have, the way I see life, the way I'm thinking, like it's kind of up leveled me. And that's what I love about it. And that's what I'm so passionate about. Like, this is not a diet to lose weight. And yes, it's what I stepped into it for. And maybe that's just the way I needed to get me, get me into it, get me started. But now it's like, gosh, why would you want to live any other way than this? So, yes, I've had moments where I've maybe gone back into a bit of ketovore and just realized the difference. And I'll never, ever choose to stay there. I always end up coming back to carnivore, because it's like, why would you drive a Ferrari, then go and drive a Toyota and then, not want to come back to the Ferrari? And so I love, eating carnivore because of how it makes me feel. And when I speak to people about this, it's like, look, I know you want to look the way I look, but I actually really want you to feel the way I feel. And in most cases, kind of what they want, they just don't know it yet. They want to feel
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems like a pretty natural progression too. And I feel like I see it a lot of people that go to paleo. You know, that was really, really big, 10 years ago,
Yeah.
where people are
Yeah.
on more of this whole foods kick, which is it's better than so the sad diet, standard American diet, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you
Yeah.
guys say standard Australian
Same
diet at
thing.
this point.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah.
Just yeah, very, very highly packaged foods, highly processed or ultra
Perfect.
processed, ultra palatable
Yes.
things. So I think paleo's it's a better start. It's a
Yeah.
way to kick off and not go cold turkey, if you will. But then keto, a lot of people get into the keto space. They just feel it's simpler and easier. And then even carnivore is even easier because you don't have to worry about, well, is this a net carb? Is this how much fiber can I have? You just eat meat until you're full and then you feel good.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
where in the point? How was your hearing? Um, you
Mm.
know,
Yeah.
at one point was it like from paleo or keto where you felt like that was starting to resolve itself?
Yeah. So with the paleo back in 20, say 11, I significantly lowered the ringing.
Mm.
Significantly. I reversed any kind of issue, medical issue I'd had during that time or health issue. And I was feeling pretty good. And I now know what makes it worse. And that's, through my own experiences. Um, with keto and carnivore, same thing. It's very, very low. There are other, you know, the ear ringing isn't just linked to diet, but diet is a really, really big part of it. So yeah, I've been able to lower it. I've been able to, keep my body, maintain my body and my physique. My health has been very stable. Um, energy levels high. I get regular blood work done, all very, very, very normal. I had blood pressure test done the other day, and he just says, for your age, that is just, you are so on point with your blood pressure. He said, so all of my blood results have always been great. So yes, it's
And
just your body is your body is kind of just living optimally. You know,
yeah.
that's what I
And
find.
you did hit the nail on the head about people come to the diet. One, it's for, again, weight loss is a big thing. It's a part of it,
Mm.
as
Yeah,
part of this journey. And a lot of people try different diets because of weight loss. But like you said it yourself, it's not necessarily about the weight loss. Yeah, you'll lose some weight, but it's really about how you feel because how many people in this world have done diets, quote unquote diets, right? And they're miserable. They may look
yeah,
great, but they're
mm,
just miserable, counting calories every single day. You're hungry all the time. It's more of like a punishment versus you go to carnivore. Can you lose and gain weight on carnivore? In my opinion, yes. Because
yeah,
I'm right now, I'm eating as much as I can because I'm just getting out of the winter time and I'm trying to put a muscle on. I have some
yes,
competitions that I need to do, so I'm trying to put on muscle. So I've gained weight and I eat purely carnivore. So, but I
yes,
can lose weight very easily as well. But how I feel during the time is
mm,
completely different than how I used to lose weight or put on weight in the past. I'm not avoiding fat. I'm not limiting my protein. I'm not limiting myself in a way where I feel so run down that I feel almost sick. And coming from like
yeah,
bikini, right, and any type of bodybuilding, that's like the
yeah,
norm. People are just like walking on
mm,
death's door as they get onto the
yeah,
stage. Did you feel that amongst
yeah,
some of the
yeah,
other
yeah,
competitors?
yeah. I think when I would go to my posing class, I could see how they were looking and feeling, and I was just like, wow, I can't resonate with what they're saying, how they're looking and feeling at all. I was very, very happy, feeling really great, all the time. And you're right, like most people talk about diets and they don't like doing them, which is probably why they don't stick to them, and but if you're eating when you're eating carnivore, it's just like, oh, I love what I eat. My body just craves it so much in the morning that you actually love. We talk about a lot of people talk about it being so restrictive. Oh, I couldn't restrict my food that much. And it's like, well, what are you restricting in life? actually by eating all this variety of food, where I'm telling you to restrict your food and you gain so much life back, and that's where the contrast I like to share with people. It's like you don't want to lose the variety in your food, yet you're losing variety in life by eating everything and what it's doing to you. So, hey, I would take that restriction in food to gain what life gives me because of it. I
Yeah.
think that's a really important point for people to consider if they're wanting to try this way of life.
Yeah. And I don't even look at it as restricting. It's because if we look at a proper human diet, like with the things that Sean Baker, Ken Berry talk about, right? This is a proper human
Mhm.
diet. This is what we're designed to eat. Like we're not restricting things. We're actually taking things out that shouldn't really be there in the
Really there.
quantities that they are. And again,
Mhm.
you're the camp of animal based. Like I'm gonna have fruit every once in a while. Like in reality, that those would be very seasonal things in sparing moderations, but not to the level of packaged foods that we have accessible at the corner market. You just keep grabbing and
Mhm.
grabbing and grabbing. So when people talk about restriction, I'm like, it's not really restricted. I'm taking things out that really even shouldn't be in there in the
Shouldn't be
first
there.
place. Yeah. So, but yeah,
Mhm.
the having another handle on life and feeling good. I mean, that's more important than cupcakes. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes. And, there's always a conversation about socializing. I met some people who are quite a bit older than me yesterday, invited me to lunch, and, they we were talking about socializing. They were all carnivores, and, also they were just new into carnivore. They said, "Oh, when we go and socialize, we don't want to people to look at us weirdly because this is how we eat, or, that we're not touching the wine or we're not eating salad." Said, "Totally your choice. Totally your choice what you do, and just lead by example. Don't give them any reason to question you. Just do what you want to do and let them ask you what you're doing when you are, you know, losing weight and glowing and you're feeling energetic and vibrant. So just because other people are not eating or drinking what you are when you're out doesn't mean that you can't go and socialize and just choose the right things whilst you're out. Yesterday we had a big platter of seafood, big platter of grilled seafood, grilled meats, and it was just beautiful. You just got to pick the right places.
yeah. And
Yeah.
how about like family members, people around you when you started making this transition? Were they giving you some concern at first, or or were they really kind of hip to understanding kind of what carnivore was at the time?
No, not really. No one really there's still a lot of people that don't understand it. But um, I am of Greek background, so it's very common for us to be eating grilled meats. So that's okay. Um, no, there's a lot of people that don't quite understand it. However, again, I just say, look at me and tell me if you think I'm malnourished. Tell me if you think I'm not eating what I should be. Tell me if you think my energy is low or it's impacting me in any way. And and I don't think they've got anything to say about how I present to the world because I probably feel better now in my 40s than I did in my 20s and my 30s. I've kept my weight down. I've got way more energy. Um, just happier and just more vibrant than I've ever been. I actually feel like I was when I was 18, when I had the world, ahead of me, finishing high school and young and, hormones are firing. And like, there's just so much that carnivore does for you that I wasn't feeling in my 20s and 30s, because of how I was eating.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very funny how people get into this aging is a part of life, and therefore I need to, go with the flow of not feeling good and just kind of chalk it up to aging. And I agree with you. I think I'm stronger now. My body composition is probably but besides like maybe with like endurance racing for me, that's when my body composition was really low.
Yeah.
But besides that, taking time off from long endurance races, my body comp has leveled out. I feel great. I have energy. I'm stronger than I've ever been. And like you said, like I feel way better than I did in my 20s. I'm 36 now. I I can run circles around me, my 20-year-old self, and I think a
Yeah,
lot of people, oh, I have knee pain, therefore because I'm old. I'm not going to do those kind of exercises anymore because I'm older. I think it's just kind of, the norm. And I feel like, again, like you said, lead by example of, you're still working out, you're still doing all these things, and
yeah,
you're still thriving and feeling better than you did yesterday.
absolutely, absolutely. You don't have kids, do you, Tony? No. You
You
have
have
kids?
two, one?
Do you? I was
Do
gonna
I
ask, do
have
you have kids?
children? I
Yeah.
do not have children, no.
No. No. So I've got kids, and so in my in say like 30, yeah, my 30s, pretty much. My kids were little, and they're like 10 and 12 now. But I remember times where I was so out of breath, I didn't have energy to run after them. We were at the zoo one day and it was hot, and I remember they were running ahead of me, and I just didn't have energy. I just had, my back was hurting. Felt sluggish, and I'm like, my kids were little, I could barely run after them. And now at 10 and 12, like now I've got way more energy, and I'm able to keep up with them, which is
Yeah.
great.
And do you instill kind of like a carnivorous diet with the kiddos, or they have a little bit more, animal based, or how do you kind of,
Yeah.
prescribe, not prescribe, I should say prescribe, but how do you kind of plan your kiddos meal? Because again, I don't have any kids, but I believe it's difficult, especially when they're amongst other kiddos and other families and they don't kind of follow the same things that you do.
Yeah, it's hard because I'm divorced and my kids don't spend their whole time with me. So I can only control what I can control. And that threw a spanner in the works in the early stages, because I was back, paleo, clean eating, all of that, which was great when my kids were young. So I was really to the book and doing everything as best I could before um, I got divorced. And then afterwards, I didn't have the kids all the time, and so then, there were other influences involved in their food choices. So all I do my best is to keep them eating a good, healthy, clean, whole food diet as best as I can. I don't. I also think 10 and 12 is a really hard age to get them to eat anything that I want them to eat, because they'll just say, no, I don't want it. So, and they just won't eat it. And they probably prefer to go hungry rather than eat what I'm telling them to. And I remember when I was their age, and my parents kind of did the same thing to me. And I wish they hadn't done that to me back then, because things like um, eggs mainly, eggs, cheese, milk were three things that my parents would kind of force me to have. And so I don't drink milk, which I'm okay with. I don't eat cheese, which I'm okay with. But eggs is a real issue, because I really wish that I could do it, but I just can't do it. And yeah, that's because it was kind of forced on me. And so with my kids, I just lead by example, let them watch what I'm doing. My daughter will eat a steak with me for breakfast, like no problems, and I love that before she goes to school. My son, not so much. um, but I don't force. I just show them, and eventually, when I teach them and explain to them why, they're coming around a bit, which is great.
Yeah. And,
I'm
and
obviously in control of the food in the home, as is any parent. So I do my best to keep it as clean and healthy as possible. Yeah.
Absolutely. And then kind of on the topic of teaching, coaching, right? And working with people and helping them transform their lives. You mainly work with women, but what are the biggest challenges that those clients face and how do you help them navigate that?
Yeah, what I'm seeing is a lot of women coming to me at the same stage of life kind of as I am, or even a little bit older. My kids have grown up. I've had these years of not putting myself first. A lot of them are really overweight and living very sluggish lives. Really overweight for women in their 40s and 50s. And They just want to get their lives back. They want to get themselves back. And a lot of them are saying, I want to look in the mirror and really love who I see. I want to go and buy clothing and feel comfortable in them. I want to, I need my energy back. They've all got some kind of autoimmune, thyroid, hormone thing going on. And yes, that is what happens with women around this time of their lives, but doesn't really have to, and not so early. Um, so yeah, their main struggle is like, I know I need to make a change. I don't think I can do it on my own. I need you to hold my hand pretty much and hold me accountable the whole way. And, I don't jump anyone straight into carnivore unless they really come to me and want to. We do it slowly like I did. I think keto is a great way to get started and then move into carnivore. Um, and then we look at movement. We look at movement. So what kind of movement they're doing in their day. I like to get everybody lifting weights at some point because I think it's really important for us to build muscle and be strong as we age. And then mindset, because, again, we've put everybody before us for a really long time. And it's about kind of coming back to self and saying, who am I? What do I deserve? What am I worthy of? And how do I deserve to be living? So it's what I do with my clients over 90 days is just get them eating well, moving well, thinking well. And usually in that 90 days, I'll drop a good load of body fat and be feeling amazing. And the idea is that I have this kind of toolkit that I slowly kind of unravel over the 90 days. And then after that, they're equipped with not only the knowledge and the tools, but the experience to say, okay, now you can go off and do that on your own. And they usually do, so that they can then live life how they want to. So, and that's my purpose is just, I couldn't have had an experience and not want to share it with other people, which is why I want to do this work, and I am doing this work with women, which also
Yeah.
then leads to my event. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Dr. Kiltz, which we'll probably mention in a moment here, but Dr. Kiltz, he said, I've heard him say this a ton of times, like carnivore is like a really, really like well kept secret, but you can't stop telling people. Right? Like it's a
Yes.
secret you have, but you just can't stop telling people. And I think it is important of this is why people do the chats. It's why people do podcasts. It's why people share stories. It's why people are now, mentioning Carrie Mann are trying to get, documentaries made about this because it's so life changing. So kind of fast forwarding into your carnivore live events, what made you think like, hey, I'm going to be able to kind of have like this big event? Was it like oh, I know I can do this, or you're like, oh, I'm a little scared to start this, but we're just gonna go for it
Mm.
anyways?
Well, actually, back in 2011, when I had, that year of very significant personal growth, um, I said the same thing back then. I don't want to have this experience. Maybe there's other people that are searching for this information and need it too. So I started running retreat weekends, which then led to wellness days, which then led to like book launch events, film screening launches, and anything to do with kind of health, wellness, sustainability, even like personal development. I was holding events, right through that time. For the last 10 years or so, more, I've been running events to share information with people. So, yeah, when I hadn't run an event for a little while, having, kind of come out of some stressful years, and I thought, well, there's a lot going on in the US. Why don't I contact? I'd already made some contact with people because I was already connecting with a few people in the carnivore community. So I already had some nice connections through podcasting and interviews and things like that. So I just said to them, hey, I just sent emails out to everyone who I thought would be great to attend this event as a guest speaker. I said, hey, if I run an event in Australia, would you come? And that one by one, it was like, yep, we're there, we're there, we're there. And in the end, we had this amazing lineup of speakers, including Dr. Anthony Chafee, Bella, Kerry Mann, and Adam from Healing Humanity, Professor Bart Kay, Anthony Fayez, Natalie West, Bradley Marshall, local doctor here, Dr. Carolyn Harris. And like it was an amazing event. And just by the way, I remember when I released the tickets for that event, I thought, God, I don't know any other carnivores in my kind of space, only a couple. I don't know how many people are going to come to this. And then all of a sudden, there's just people booking tickets from all over Australia and New Zealand, and even someone came from America to attend this event, and it was full house, and um, it was an amazing day, like very empowering. Everyone was so excited to be there, and even for me as an organizer to see all these incredible people that we maybe only seen on podcasts and YouTube videos and on your socials all come together, and those speakers had never really met each other either. So yeah, it was a great day. So yeah, that's how I got to running events. And yeah, we're doing another one in about, I don't know, 3 weeks, I think, in Melbourne, Australia. Dr. Kiltz is coming down, Bella, Carnivore Ray. Got a lot of local speakers. We're doing a carnivore in professional sports segment as well, a panel. So yeah, we have local businesses involved that have, tallow products and um, different, supplements and earthing blankets and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it is really an experience. People come and have a great experience on the day and hopefully leave either empowered to make some changes or just fired up about what they already do, you know?
Yeah, that's gotta be so rewarding, to like, I know a lot of work goes into that. So thanks for putting those types of events on. I know there's a
Yeah.
lot of logistical things you have to get done of just guests and
Yeah.
traveling and making sure everything is just right for the people that are registering. But yeah,
Yes.
that's got to be super rewarding to feel so good to just like step back when it's all said and done of like, wow, this was a really great event. I mean, people are, yeah, like you said, people are coming from all over to rub elbows and with people in the carnivore community and also learn a little bit more as well.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. That sometimes I hear, actually pretty often, carnivores feel a little bit isolated. And just like we talked about family before,
Mhm.
a lot of people, especially new into carnivore, who aren't that confident yet in what they're doing, sometimes they're a little bit unsure whether what they're doing is right or not. And so they keep quiet and they don't tell anyone in their circles and they feel a little bit alone on their journey. And so the beauty of these events is to get people all into a room where they don't have to hide what they're doing and who they are and how they feel. And yeah, they're around like-minded people, which I think is most important about community and live events is the bringing together of people for a common cause. And like you said, carnivores like to tell everybody about their experience. This
Yeah.
this man, these people I met with yesterday, one of them in particular had been like lifelong chronic pain in his knees, his body. He was overweight. He'd had cellulitis, very unwell, and he started carnivore just last week. And overnight, his knee pain went away. Yesterday, he walked to the shops for the first time in he doesn't know how long, and he was crying. It just could not believe that all it had taken was for him to change his diet like this, and what it's already given him in 4 days. And he's a truckie, an Aussie truckie, so he drives trucks. And he said, "I'm telling all of my truckie mates and I want to, I just want to tell everybody about this because, he said, I'm angry that I didn't know about this beforehand. I'm angry that I've been through so many years of pain and struggle. And it took me 4 days, not even overnight to feel the difference already. So,
Yeah.
I guess that's why people are talking about it like us.
So many people don't know that they're walking around chronically inflamed, right? There's just so much inflammation in the body, and they're just so used to it
Yeah.
because this is their quote unquote state of normal just based off of what they've been eating day after day.
Yep.
But when you start to
Yes.
take that away, oh my gosh, just the veil is lifted, you feel great. Those little aches and pains start to go away. I hear it all the time. People talk to me, anybody that I get that comes to me for carnivore, within a few days, if not a week, that one nagging issue, lower back, severe pain in the knee or hands. It's like, hey, I don't have that pain anymore. I'm like, yeah, because you're not you're not constantly inflamed, right?
Nope.
Um, but yeah, we get the stories all the time and it's great. And, I appreciate you sharing all your story with us and continuously having the carnivore chats, putting on the lives for everybody to come and see. And when is the one in Melbourne? Is it April 26th?
April 26th. Yes,
Okay.
yes, yeah.
Okay. And there's still tickets available?
Yeah, still tickets available. I'll give you the link. You can share it maybe in the notes. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely tickets available. It's going to be an amazing day. Like to have all of those experts in one room, and to learn from them and to speak with them, like in person is a huge opportunity for anyone interested in either starting carnivore or you're doing carnivore and need some, a bit of a boost with regards to information and knowledge, maybe to keep you going. Um, yes, it is an opportunity. We'll put it that way. Definitely. Yeah.
And for some of the listeners, if they can't make it out there, can't make it to Melbourne, they want to kind of contact you for coaching, where can they find you or connect with you?
Yes, absolutely. I live on Instagram. Instagram is where I live online. So it's at Melissa B. So MELISSABBE.AU. So yeah, come see me there and connect with me. And I every day try to share something inspiring, educational, any value, or even just my clients' stories and experiences to, just support the community around me. They've come to me, so I like to give as much as I can to support them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, keep sharing your story, keep helping people. You're doing a fantastic job, and
Thank you. And you
once
too.
again, yeah. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it. And
Appreciate it.
one of these days, we'll have to run into each other at one of these events for sure.
Yes, well, hold on a minute. I'm coming to Meat Stock, Tennessee in the
This
middle
is
of May. Are
I'm
you
not
coming? What's
gonna.
happening?
This is like the fourth or fifth time I've been on the podcast with somebody. They're like, "Hey, you gonna go to Meat Stock?" I'm like, "I can't. I have
Oh,
a kettlebell certification that I'm going to. It's my dad's birthday weekend, and I missed last year, so I got to come this year. And I just had Sally Norton on the last episode, and she's like, "You're gonna come to Meat Stock?" I was like, "No, not this year, but 2026." I will be
yes,
there. I will make sure, and I think they're gonna have it back in Tennessee again. So I would love to see
yes,
everybody
yes,
there. Unfortunately, you're gonna have
absolutely.
to fill me in how it
Oh,
was, but hopefully within the year we'll cross paths.
yes, definitely.
Cool.
Absolutely. You have to come to our next Carnival Live next year. Yeah.
You got it. All right. Well, thanks again, Melissa, for coming on, and thanks for everybody listening to another episode of the Primal Foundations podcast.
Thanks for having me.